I noticed a bit of blood on my panties, and golly, at first I thought, well, I didn't know what to think.
I'm so glad I'm not a girl in puberty. Just remember, I was losing my mind. I remember.
I do remember those days and wondering what is happening? What is happening? Can somebody explain it to me?
It is an explosion of emotions and experiences and neurotransmitters, the likes of which have never been seen in this body before.
It's really the body and the brain interacting to prepare that young lady for adulthood and for fertility and for family. But the dance is so complex and it can look crazy.
I like to think of the brain as an orchestra conductor, and your hormones or any information that flows out of the brain to the rest of your organs is a music sheet that really tells the other organs what to play and when to do it.
One way to look at puberty is what's happening in the brain and how is this text message going from the brain to the ovaries to say, hey, why don't you pop an egg out now?
So during puberty, the brain really needs to be very much in tune with your ovaries. During the first phase of your cycle, there's one hormone being produced, which is called FSH, or follicle-stimulating hormone, that makes your egg cells mature. That kicks off estrogen production, and estradiol in particular really peaks during the first half of your cycle.
So the brain is impacting your estrogen levels, but then estrogen also comes back to the brain and impacts your cognition, so your memory. But estrogen also helps your body to do things like regulate its temperature or regulate its emotions. So estrogen can impact so many of those physical, social, and thinking or cognitive skills that a person needs.
All of a sudden, there's a surge of all these different hormones, and that could create a little bit of shock in a very finely tuned system.
Much as estrogen does us a lot of good for our memory, it could hurt us in terms of mood symptoms. Women are about twice as likely as men to get depressed. There are kids, unfortunately, who get a diagnosis of depression, but that happens about equally in boys and girls. As soon as you hit puberty, it's double in girls. Teenagers oftentimes are called dramatic. We have a limbic system or an emotional system that's really turned on, and we have a regulating system or a prefrontal cortex that's not quite ready yet. So it is really true that teenagers may feel things a bit more intensely.
Always texting, always on social media platforms. They get a level of ecstasy from these interactions. And it's because of surges of dopamine and surges of estrogen and the interplay and the bathing of the brain in these hormones that's driving these girls to just lose their minds, you know? And we're like, oh my God, I can't wait till you get past this.
A baby's brain contains over 100 billion neurons, which are almost as many stars as we have in the Milky Way. The synapses, which are the connection between neurons, are firing at an explosive rate of almost 2 million per second. The neurons are growing, they are making connections with each other. They're really populating this brain that is becoming bigger and bigger and more complex. And all this comes to an end after puberty and adolescence. This is really the best chance you have to give your brain a chance to be as strong and as resilient as it could possibly be. This is really when you're setting the stage for your next 80 years of life.